Yo, what's up, guys? We got some promos on the sportsbook. So Underdog Fantasy tonight, they have a promo on Freddie Freeman. So you can see Underdog Fantasy usually for these 3-pick entries, any 3 picks you select on the board, you're going to be getting a 6x payout. You can kind of see that right here, right? 6x payout. So basically, if you go through the math behind this promo, the best type of entry you can do is actually a 3-pick entry. You can also do 2 picks, but I'm going to do a 3-pick entry. So they're giving you an 8x payout. So essentially, 8x payout is plus 700 odds, which means they're just removing the juice from their market, right? Even if you could only hit your over-unders correctly 50% of the time, you're going to be profitable. So basically, they're just removing the juice from their market. But of course, we still want to find the best plays to go with for this promo, right? We want to find 3 picks winning above 50% of the time, and we're going to be profitable on Underdog Fantasy for this promo. So the first thing we want to do is we can check out we need to figure out, do we want to take Freeman's over or his under in terms of total bases? So you just want to take the side that is favored on the sportsbook. So I'll give you a simple example is if we go to player bases and we look at Freddie Freeman, we can just see what are the sportsbooks telling us is, the better side to pick. So let's go back here and let's just try to do this quickly. So if you look at, sports books, this is just the sportsbook screen on OddsJam. It just kind of shows you where all the books are setting their lines. It's kind of like if you're a trader, probably use a Bloomberg terminal. If you're a sports bettor, you need to be looking at data. You need to be looking at, the market. So if you look here, you may think because the promo's on Freddie Freeman, I should just take the over, but that's actually not true. So if you go here to Freddie Freeman, you're going to see most of the sports books, they have his under favored, right? Like DraftKings has his under at minus 130. So the books are telling you, hey, we actually think he's more likely to go under as opposed to over. Pinnacle minus 129. So long story short, we want to bet his under for this promo. We're getting an 8x payout. Again, they're removing the juice from this market. And we're taking his under because all the books are telling us, hey, his under is the favorite outcome, which you can kind of just see looking at the sportsbook screen. This OddsJam algo odds column is just like a weighted average of the entire market. And you can see his under is a little bit favored. So that's the first play we'll go with. And then we need to find 2 pairs, right? I'm going to try to create a 3-pick entry. And also I gave out a PrizePicks Taco Tuesday slip, but we can look at PrizePicks here in a second. It looks like they already bumped 2 of the plays I gave out for Taco Tuesday. But here's what I ended up going with. If you want to tail, if any of the plays are still available, but we can look for some new picks on PrizePicks here in a second. But anyways, we want to take Freeman's under. And then we can kind of look at okay, what about the rest of the market? So here's an example of a play that maybe we want to go with. So here we have a Champions League play. So if you take a look at Muani, right, Underdog Fantasy has his line at 2. So it's very simple, right? Beating the sports books is number 1, take advantage of these profitable promos. These discounts on Taco Tuesday, these promos on Underdog Fantasy, easy way to get an advantage. And then number 2 is you just want to find value in the market, right? Investors look for value. It's no different as a sports betting. It's no different in sports betting. So you can see all the other sports books have Muani's line lower at 1.5 shots on goal. Underdog Fantasy sitting at 2. So, this is just kind of rational sports betting. Underdog Fantasy, their line's higher than the other data points we have in the market. So we want to take his under. So there we go. We got a second pick. And it looks like there's some pretty good bets on Underdog Fantasy right now. There's some early NFL value as well. So one play, I actually think we locked it in yesterday. It doesn't look like it moved, is you have James Cook under 58.5. And then you can take a look at PrizePicks and his line's at 53.5. Now, a lot of people will be like, oh, you're not considering historical data, right? You're not considering how James Cook did last game or, last season. is you got to remember in lineups and injuries is all that stuff is baked into the market, right? Like you'll notice sportsbooks move around their lines due to where action's coming in, right? If all the action is coming in on the Chiefs money line, books are going to move odds towards the Chiefs. So, you can kind of see that if you look at any sports book, you'll notice like they move around lines. So this over 58 points, this play looks really good on Bet365, the positive EV tool. It just points out value. So you can see like Pinnacle, they initially had their odds at plus 101. Pinnacle is known to be a sharper, more sophisticated sports book, but they've been ripping lines towards the over, right? Maybe there were lineup changes that make it more likely for there to be more points in the game, maybe injuries to a good defensive player, or maybe just all the early action is coming in on the over, right? Pushing the sportsbooks lines higher. So you can see there's good bets on Bovada, a ton of different sportsbooks. This play looks really good on Bovada. Lines are ripping towards Storm Hunter, plus 5.5. You can still get this, plus 100 on Bovada. So that play seems good. But anyways, let's get this Underdog Fantasy played on. So James Cook, I already bet it, so I'm not going to be able to include it. But we can try to see if there's another play that we want to go with. So we can take a look right here. Here we have a Valorant play. And you can see they already locked this market. So man, they are not doing us a favor here. They are moving lines quickly. But if we look at Valorant, right? So if we go ahead and we look at, all the other sports books, just trying to find value, it's like, okay, Underdog Fantasy has the line at 30.5. I think this is correct, right? Mimi, is this pulling in correctly? Or it looks like there's two Mimis, so I'm a little confused here. But anyways, so that first play moved on us. But what we can do is maybe we do take James Cook under 58.5 rushing yards. So we'll see if they let us rebet this. And again, for this promo, usually 3-pick entry or 2-pick entries on Underdog, you have a 3x payout. They go to 4x with this promo on Freddie Freeman. But what we can do is we can just okay, maybe we can find some correlated soccer plays. So let me just refresh this quickly. There's a lot of soccer plays available. So in soccer, one thing you can try to do is sometimes there's some good correlation. So correlation, sounds like a big word, but it's pretty simple. Is right, like if you're going to take, if you like Julian Alvarez over 3.5 shots on goal, probably makes sense to try to find the opposing goalie. Like these plays would pair well together, right? You're taking one guy to go over in shots, and then you're taking the opposing goalkeeper to go over in saves, right? Those things make sense to pair together on PrizePicks because, PrizePicks and Underdog are platforms where they don't change your payout based on you selecting over versus under. So ideally, if you're betting on things from the same game, sometimes you can find some positive correlation. But anyways, let's refresh this. And let's try to find some soccer plays after that first one. After that first one moved on us, so I'm not sure if they're going to let me bet this James Cook one again. But we can take a look here. So a lot of Champions League plays. So I'm just trying to see, okay, is there anything, from the same game? And if not, whatever. We can check out this play. So if we go over here to soccer, PrizePicks doesn't even have a lineup for him, but Parlay plays lower, so it's like, maybe we go here, and we go to Lewis, over 2.5 shots on goal. So let's refresh this. So again, the Fantasy Optimizer, it doesn't do anything complicated. All it's really doing is reading in all this data from the market and, trying to point out value, discrepancies between PrizePicks and Underdog, right? What's crazy about sports betting is how fragmented the market is, right? Like you go to Fidelity, E-Trade, Robinhood. I've given this example in other videos, but it's a good analogy. Is you're going to see the same price, for Facebook, right? Like if you go to buy Facebook on Fidelity, E-Trade, Robinhood, this is the price, right? What's crazy about sports betting is for the exact same bet, Mbappe over under in passing attempts, you have massively different prices between sports books. So PrizePicks has Mbappe at 43.5. Underdog Fantasy has his line at 41.5, right? It's like seeing a stock at 41.50 on E-Trade, 43.50 on Fidelity, right? It's kind of crazy. But anyways, here we go. 3 picks. I'm hoping they let me bet the James Cook one. Again, this is a promo on Underdog Fantasy. PrizePicks has a promo right now too. They got Taco Tuesday going on. But the more books you have access to, the more promos you're going to have access to. So like, you know, in these promos, like this is the easiest money you're going to make sports betting is just, you know, on these promos. So some of these sports books run daily promos. So I'm not sure if my internet's messing up here, if this is ParlayPlay. So if you take a look here at like, you know, ParlayPlay, every single day, it's only for a max of $20, but they let you like bump the line in your favor. So like, let's say you want to take, you know, Sonya under 26.5 kills, you can bump the line to 27.5, get an extra point of value, which is obviously like a good thing. But anyways, here we go. We got a 3-pick entry. Pretty simple. You know, found 3 plays with an edge. The promo's already profitable. We're going with the optimal number of picks in our entry, so whatever. We'll just lock it in. And I've already hit my max on James Cook, so they're not going to let me bet it, but anyways, what we can do is we can just go here. Sure, whatever. Alexander Dragovich. Underdog has his line at 25.5. PrizePicks is like, no. His line should be higher at 26.5. So it's like, okay, maybe a little bit of value there. So not a lot of early, you know, NFL bets really, compared to what I was hoping for. Or wait, did they put Muwani back? So maybe they put him back. Nope, it looks like they pulled that. So again, like most bets suck, and that's the hard part, right? Like out of these, you know, like there's some line discrepancies available, but you're really looking for a needle in a haystack. Like Underdog Fantasy has tens of thousands of lines up. Most of these plays, there's no value in the market, right? So you want to look for profitable promos and those rare, you know, few line discrepancies. So let's see here. So they did put Muwani back. So I'm going to do this. Well, I don't think this makes sense. It doesn't make sense to pair Mbappe's under with Muwani's over. So anyways, why don't we just do this? So sure, we'll go with this 3-pick entry. Here's what I'm actually going to lock in. So this play seems like the best play on the board. Muwani under 2 shots. Again, all the other books, you know, it's just like rational, data-driven sports betting, right? It's like if a very simple way to think about it is if I told you, hey, I'll let you buy Facebook at $197 where it was 6 months ago, you'd be crazy to say no. You could sell it in the market at $304, right? But like the market is based on, you know, there's millions of people who wake up every day and think about if companies are overvalued or undervalued. That's why it's almost impossible to be a day trader, right? Literally impossible to do it yourself. There's very few people who can make money day trading because the market is where supply and demand meet, and there's millions of people every day. It's their full-time job thinking about whether companies are overvalued or undervalued. So it's hard to beat the market, but it's very simple. Like, you know, if someone told me, hey, you can buy Facebook at $250, I would put all my money in Facebook, right? Because I'm getting $54 of edge relative to where it's trading in the market. And you don't have to know anything about Facebook. You just know there's value on the trade. You have an edge. But anyways, we went ahead, we locked that in. What's up, guys? So there we go. We got a 3-pick entry on Underdog. What's up? What's up? So there we have it. That's what I would recommend going with on Underdog. Again, you know, this play on Muwani looks pretty good. So if you want to take his under, you know, I'm sure you could find some other pairs to go with if you want more action down. Underdog Fantasy has a max of, you know, it just looks like a max of $10 for this entry. So if we wanted to find another pick, you know, I'm sure we could. So we'd want Muwani under 2. Any other plays we want to go with, you could pair it with James Cook under 58.5. I mean, there's some other plays out there. But anyways, we'll go to PrizePicks. We'll look at ParlayPlay. Again, depending on where you're located, you may have different sports books than I have, right? Like, there's a lot of good bets on Bet365. I use this sports book all the time when I'm in Virginia, but it's not legal in California where I currently am, so I don't have access to it. But the same concepts apply. Like, sports betting is not complicated, right? find value in the market. You know, what does an investor do? They look for value in the market. But anyways, let's go to PrizePicks, and we can kind of see like, okay, for PrizePicks Taco Tuesday, what are some, you know, good plays you could go with? If you didn't already bet it, I already bet it, and PrizePicks actually very frustrating, but explained it in a previous live stream. They actually limited me. Like, I can't even bet $50 anymore. They're saying, no, your max is $25 after a pretty good weekend. So that sucks. But what we'd go with is obviously Taco Tuesday, easy value here. They're discounting his line. And then what other plays do we like? So we can pull up PrizePicks, and let's reload this. And we can just take a look, and we can see, are there any other, you know, good plays out there? So it looks like there's some Valorant plays, yada, yada, yada. There's some soccer plays. Again, ideally you can find some positive correlation there. But so this play I went with Sophia Kenin over 21 games. You can see FanDuel has the total games line at 22.5. I mean, we can actually just pull it up on the sportsbook screen. So if we go here, we go to tennis, and then we go to total games. And if you're just tuning in, there's some good promos today. PrizePicks obviously has Taco Tuesday. You know, I gave out a slip on Twitter, but if you haven't bet it yet, you know, promos are the easiest money you're going to make betting. And then also, Underdog Fantasy has a promo. 3 pick entries go to an 8x payout, and you want to take Freeman's under because books have lines juiced towards the under. Strategy doesn't change, right? Anyways, on PrizePicks, you know, it looks like Bijan, more sports books are starting to drop his line. They kind of have him around 72.5, 73.5. PrizePicks has his line at 68.5. So if you want to take Bijan, now's a good time to take Bijan. A lot of people will be like, oh, why don't I wait till Saturday to place all my NFL bets? And you'll miss a lot of the good lines. You know, like, you never know when the best bets are going to occur, and the lines will move, right? Like, lines will move. So one play I locked in yesterday, and of course it already lost, but you can see right here is McCaffrey under 89.5. We have some decent plays there. But we have Justin Jefferson under 105.5 yards. So you can see here, Bijan's line a little too low on PrizePicks relative to the other books. But if you go over to receiving yards, right, you can see this line on Jefferson. A lot of times the best betting opportunities are when books first drop odds. So Underdog released Jefferson at 105.5. It's already come down to 101.5. So you lose 4 yards of value. And it may not seem like a big deal, but like all this stuff, right, it adds up in terms of your profitability long term. But you can see like Underdog Fantasy is still high relative to the rest of the market on Jefferson. Less value than before on the live stream yesterday where we got under 105.5. But still pretty good value, right, relative to the other data points. Again, PrizePicks is a $1 billion company. They have pretty good models. So we can go here. We can go to tennis. And this is the play I went with, still available. So we can see, okay, like, what else is available on PrizePicks? And again, you know, like, sometimes you can find some positive correlation. That's ideal if you can. Like, you know, in soccer, in football, I mean, so what would be a good pick? So here's another play I went with. This is still available. So if we wanted to build another slip, again, I'm not going to be able to bet this Taco Tuesday, so I'll have to remove the Taco Tuesday, or we can make a 6-pick flex play, actually, is we'd want to go to Donnie under 16.5 points. That play seems pretty good. And again, like, so let's take a look. Let's see what else is out there. So we could go to Hernandez over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. So this would make a 4th pick. And again, like, PrizePick strategy is pretty simple. You know, if you go through the math behind PrizePick, so let's go to hits plus runs plus RBIs. Is, again, right, like, PrizePicks is a platform. A lot of people know this, but, right, they don't change your payout based on you selecting over versus under. So the strategy for beating them is pretty simple. you either want to find line discrepancies. So like for Taco Tuesday, it's like, okay, every other sports book probably has, Zach Gallen's line at, 5.5 strikeouts. PrizePicks giving you 4.5. That's a big difference, right? 4.5 versus 5.5. In terms of the odds, it's pretty impactful. So what we can actually do is if we pull up FanDuel, you can kind of see right here, and I'm not sure why my internet's moving slowly, but if you go to the Diamondbacks game, right, and you take a look at, pitcher props, a lot of people are like 4.5 versus 5.5. Well, it doesn't look like they have their alternate lines up yet, but like 4.5 versus 5.5 is a pretty big move in terms of the odds. So if we go back to the MLB, you can kind of see that for another pitcher. So if we like go here, is this going to have all the lines up we want to look at? So like you can see here, right? Braxton Garrett, 5+ strikeouts, which is the same as over 4.5, is -158. So it's a big favorite. Braxton to go over 4.5 or 5+ strikeouts. His 6+ strikeouts is a big underdog, +142, right? That's an 100-cent swing in the odds, right? Like -200 to +100 would be an 100-cent swing in the odds. You have an 100-cent swing in the odds for one strikeout. So like getting this value is how you win long term. So here we have 4 picks, and you can see like on PrizePicks, the fantasy optimizer is recommending taking Hernandez over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. All the books have his over favored, right? So that's a good play to go with. All the sports books are telling you, hey, he's more likely to go over as opposed to under. And again, you may be thinking, I watch baseball. Everyone who bets on the MLB watches baseball, right? Like, it doesn't matter. I use Facebook. I don't know what the stock is going to do today, right? Like, that's stupid. It's all about the data, following the market. All the books have him heavily favored to go over. Again, if his under should be favored, all the sharp bettors would hit the under, and then the under would flip to being favored. These books move lines based on where action's coming in, right? Just like we bet Justin Jefferson, like these books, Underdog released JJ at 105.5 receiving yards. Now they're down to 101.5. They reacted to the fact that, hey, we're too high relative to the other books in the market. And this 7-yard gap will eventually disappear, but it's still available. So Justin Jefferson under 101.5 is a decent play on Underdog. So we can go here. On PrizePicks, and we can just try to see if we can find some other value. I mean, maybe there's some plays in soccer, but let's just take a look. So what you could go with is this. So we'd want Bijan Robinson. Again, rest of the market has him 74, 73.5. So this play seems decent. This would be a solid 5-pick flex play to go with for Taco Tuesday. Again, like I don't really care, what sport I'm betting on as long as I can find some value. Because I know, that's just, if you take your gut out of sports betting, so you can add in the Taco for a 6 pick if you want. But I'll just go ahead. I'll lock this in as a 5 flex. Again, kind of beat, but they're only going to give me, a max of $25. But here's what I would go with for Taco Tuesday. Because some of the earlier plays were bumped. And again, you can add in the Taco if you haven't already used it. What's up, guys? Damn, I fucking love Jamba Juice. So why don't we go back to Underdog and then we can look at ParlayPlay. So here you can throw in the Taco or, whatever. If you don't like any of my picks, feel free to replace them, right? Like I, again, follow a very data-driven approach. So many people, every frickin' bet I placed, did you not know Diggs did this the last time against, I literally just follow the data. I'll have wins, I'll have losses. Like this one crushed it. We had some big wins, all just from following the data. And again, these sports books are smarter than you, they have better models than you. Most of them are billion-dollar companies. They have really good data feeds, really good models. You got to be following the data, right? It's like 2023. Not following the data is not going to help. So what we can do is we can go back to Underdog. Underdog, I have pretty low betting limits as well. But it's a little bit better than PrizePicks. And you may be wondering, like, for anyone new on the live stream, a lot of people wonder, like, oh, why don't you place 3-pick entries, on PrizePicks? 3-pick entries, you only get a 5x payout. Whereas on Underdog Fantasy, for a 3-pick entry, we obviously had one earlier with an 8x payout from the promo, but they give you a 6x payout. It's like that stuff really matters long term when you go through the math behind like PrizePicks payouts and stuff like that. What you're going to see is 5-pick flex plays are optimal, or 6-pick flex plays. They're basically the same. And to be profitable on PrizePicks, all you got to do, it's a fixed payout platform, right? Like they literally, baseball, soccer, WNBA first half, whatever you're betting on, it's very simple. Overs, unders, whatever. This is the payout you're getting, right? If you switch this to a soccer first half pick, it doesn't freaking matter. You're still getting the same payout. So on PrizePicks, it all boils down to, can you win above 54.25% of your bets? So if you can win, let's say 56% of your prop bets, and I know some people know this, but pretty simple, right? Like if you can win your prop bets, like, Zach Gallen over under 4.5 strikeouts, if you can win these prop bets above 54.25% of the time, so 56% of the time, only losing 44% of your picks, you can win these over-unders 56% of the time, your ROI is going to be 11.9% long term, which is pretty good. So that's, so like the strategy is pretty simple. Like people talk about, here's how to win on PrizePicks. It's very simple. If you win over 54.25% of your picks, you're going to be profitable. So the key is just, how do you do that? And again, it's pretty simple. You just like compare the lines on PrizePicks to those on the sports books, and you try to find value and discrepancies in the market. If every book has an under favored and that pick is winning above 54.25% of the time, then it's good to go. Whereas on Underdog Fantasy, they have different payouts. So on Underdog, you want to go with 3-pick entries, and you have to win 55% of your plays to be profitable. Obviously, we hit a promo earlier, so the promo, they are giving you an 8x payout, so it's not the same, but it's pretty simple, right? Why is this play winning above 55% of the time? Is we have other data points saying, no, his line should be lower at 1.5. Damn. So this play on Urena looks pretty good as well. So if you look at Urena hits allowed, so we can actually I like to kind of pull up this sportsbook screen just because, on OddsJam, and again, there's a promo code in the pinned comments on YouTube or in the description for a 2-week free trial of OddsJam. But if you check out Urena, you can see right here, right? Like, Underdog has his line at 5.5, right? Most of the sports books have his line at 4.5. The other fantasy sites, JockMKT, ParlayPlay, have his line at 5. Or the sports books have his line at 5.5 with the under heavily favored. So again, like, this play seems pretty good. Pretty good to go with. So we can refresh this as well. Again, if you use Bet365, FanDuel, there's some good bets available. A lot of people ask me, why don't you bet on FanDuel? I don't have access to it right now, but I love FanDuel. There's a lot of good bets on FanDuel. The more books you got, the better. I don't even know what some of these sports books are, but if you have access to them, every sports book is setting lines independently. Not every single one. Some copy each other. But in general, all these books are setting their own lines. So you're hunting for, those few spots of gold where they're screwing up and you can get an edge. So there we go. We have a couple picks. And what else do we want to go with? So we could take any soccer plays we want to go with. Anyways, what I would go with, I've already bet it, so they're not going to let me re-bet it, but is James Cook under 58.5. There you'd have 3 unders. That seems decent. But anyways, let's move on to parlay play. Not a ton right now, right? There's some soccer plays, but in general, there's just not a ton of stuff. Ooh. So here we have McCaffrey. So this is kind of interesting. So parlay play dropping NFL lines as well. So I just kind of go book to book, right? Like, we'll check them all out. Didn't we already have something on McCaffrey that lost So this slip we already lost, but we had him under 89.5. You can see the market has moved lower on McCaffrey already. So again, the market moves. If everyone hits McCaffrey's under, market moves down, right? Just like the price of a stock, if all the smart people start buying Facebook, the price goes up. The market is indicating, no, we believe the company's more valuable. The company should be trading at a higher price in the market, right? And it's really hard to beat the market because it's based on the supply and demand of everyone. And sports betting markets are less efficient, but it's the same concept that applies, right? Like these sports books are going to move around their lines and try to get equal action coming in on both sides, so they make their spread, their risk-free spread, the VIG. But anyways, let's go to ParlayPlay. So we already have some action on McCaffrey, but hey, we can get some more action down on McCaffrey. So if we look at rushing yards, we can take a look at just like, okay. And again, like it's early in the week, not a ton of sports books have dropped NFL player prop lines yet. It's mainly these fantasy sites like ParlayPlay, Underdog, but I mean, well, you can see actually a lot of sports books on the sportsbook screen. A lot of books have started to drop prop odds. So you can see like Caesar Sportsbook, as a sports bettor, everything is a data point. MGM, Borgata, they have the line at 79.5. Bet99, a Canadian sportsbook. Caesars has the line at 79.5. And they have the under as the favorite or the juiced outcome, right? Their lines are juiced towards the under. So Caesars is saying, yo, we think he's more likely to go under as opposed to over. That's what it means when you have your market juiced. And ParlayPlay is an interesting platform. They have pretty low betting limits. Pretty low. Even for anyone, I'm pretty sure it's not based on if you beat them or not. They only have a max bet size of, I think, like $60 for the 6-pick entries. But still, like literally just following the data. I never change it up. Winning streaks, losing streaks, always doing the same thing. Up 2.8K, which is like an ROI of like 15%. Just following the data. Nothing complicated. So what we can do is we can go here to the positive EV tool. Again, this tool is just going to point out value on whatever books you use. So what we can do is we can check out like, okay, what other plays is it recommending? So ParlayPlay actually has a bit better payouts than PrizePicks. Like they have higher payouts than PrizePicks. So on ParlayPlay, it's the same strategy, right? Like the strategy never changes. People are always looking for some magic wand that's going to tell them the future. It's like, this is just how you get an edge over the DFS platforms like PrizePicks, Underdog, ParlayPlay, and win long term. For Javier Assad, all the sports books have him heavily favored to go over 3.5 strikeouts. ParlayPlay is a platform just like PrizePicks where they don't change your payout based on you selecting over versus under. On ParlayPlay, because they have better payouts than PrizePicks, you only have to win like 53% of your bets to be profitable. So this is a play that's winning, every sports book, literally every single one. And you can see Pinnacle, right? Like these lines move. Oftentimes you'll see, when do these lines start to move? Like a lot of people get confused, like why would a book, and me when I started, like why do these books move around lines? Like why did Pinnacle rip from minus 135 on his over? So they had the over favored at minus 135, but they just ripped his over to minus 163. So now it's a bigger favorite, right? A minus 200 favorite means a 2-to-1 betting favorite, 2/3 to win, 66.67% to win. Minus 300 is a 3-to-1 betting favorite, 75% to win, right? Sportsbooks are telling you how favored they think an outcome is based on their odds. So you can see every sportsbook has the over favored. Some sportsbooks more than others. Hot Streak has this minus 182. But what I was going to say is like, okay, a lot of times you'll see these lines start to move when lineups are announced, right? So like if, who's he pitching against? So if the Pirates lineup comes out and it's a bunch of crappy hitters or hitters who are more likely to strike out, then the market is going to move to have Assad's over more favored. If he's facing a bunch of players who are more likely to strike out, his strikeout line will become more favored, which is most likely what happened here. So you'll often see as lineups come out around like 1 p.m. Eastern for the MLB, you'll see some pretty big line movements. But anyways, so this play still looks great. Let's go back to this fantasy optimizer and we can take a look here had some other plays. So we have McCaffrey under 87.5. A lot more books dropping lines than I thought for, already for the NFL. So we can go ahead. We can take Feltner's over. And we ideally want to go with, I don't know how I feel about this, though. You don't really like, Kittle's over and McCaffrey's under. I'm not sure that makes too much sense. It doesn't seem like, it seems negatively correlated. We can actually take a look. We can see if FanDuel has NFL lines up for Thursday Night Football. Same game parlays. Oh, baby, they do. So, this is Thursday Night Football. Do they have receiving yards up? Bro, they don't have receiving yards up. But, like, on these sports books, you can kind of, like, play around, with the correlation, right? Like, you can see here, like, FanDuel has the same odds on McCaffrey's over versus under. But if you take McCaffrey to go under in the Giants plus 10, you're only getting plus 186 odds. But if you take McCaffrey over 83.5 and Giants plus 10, you get plus 306 odds. So this kind of makes sense, right? If McCaffrey has a bad game, goes under 83.5 yards. So you can see like FanDuel changes around the odds. They already price in correlation. So you can kind of like play around with that. But anyways, let's go back here. So they don't currently have Kittle up though. So hard to I'm not really sure what the correlation is. So I'm just going to, skip it over. So we have Assad. Okay, great. What other plays do we like? Tanner Houck, under 15.5 outs. Again, like, very simple. All you got to do on parlay play is win above 53. It's like 53.2% of your picks to be profitable. That's all we're looking to do. So this play I do like. This is beautiful. So we're taking the 49ers kicker under in field goals, McCaffrey under in rushing yards. That's positively correlated, right? Like if McCaffrey has a bad game and the 49ers are punting the ball more or whatever, then this guy's, more likely to go under in field goals. So that play actually seems quite good. And what else do we like? Damn, there are a lot of bets actually right now. So what we can do, we already have this Feltner play on PrizePicks, so maybe we remove that for a sec. We can go to Darren Waller. And what was OddsJam recommending? Take him under 50.5 receiving yards. All the sportsbooks have his line around 45.5. So that's an option. Although again, like when you're betting on things from the same game, you just want to consider correlation. So I'm not sure if this makes sense, right? Because if McCaffrey goes under, the 49ers have the ball less, they have possession less, then Waller's more likely to go over. So you should probably only pick like one of the picks. But luckily, there's some other esports plays we can go with in WNBA. So here we have Satu, right? It looks like the most random slip of all time. But hey, if that's where the value is, whatever. That's where we're going to be betting. So pretty simple, right? You look at this player drop. So this game starts here shortly. All of the other books have his line higher at like 33. ParlayPlay asleep at the wheel at 31. Again, if you want to, you can bump the line down, right? Only for a max of like $20 a day. But you can do that if you want to. You can like bump him to 20. So why don't we do that, right? Like you're going to have lower betting limits. Like you'll see if I try to bet 50 on this, they're going to say, no, only 20 bucks. So 20 bucks, but I'm getting an extra kill of value here. You could also move Tanner's line. I mean, you can kind of pick which one you want to move, but only 20 buck max. And again, when I say like PrizePicks is better, PrizePicks or ParlayPlay is a better sports book to have. What I mean by that is like, you can kind of see right here, where's a 6-pick flex play. So here we have our 6-pick flex play. Is if you go 6 for 6, you get a 25x payout on PrizePicks, which is the same as ParlayPlay. But for 5 for 6, ParlayPlay has better payouts than PrizePicks. 2.5x on ParlayPlay, only 2x, right, on PrizePicks. So it's just pretty easy, honestly, to make money on ParlayPlay. But anyways, let's just lock it in. Here's the slip. What up, guys? Does Sleeper have a promo? So PrizePicks, optimal number of picks is 5 or 6 pick flex plays. And we have some videos about that. Also, I have an article I can share. And we'll surely be on live stream later to do the second taco. But anyways, should you start on PrizePicks or ParlayPlay? ParlayPlay is easier to make money off of, but again, I recommend having both. Both just take like a minute to sign up for. Also, you'll notice like all these promos, all these sports books, in general have pretty good, sign up bonuses and stuff like that, right? $100 deposit bonuses. So if you just want to start with one, it doesn't really matter, but just make sure to take advantage of the bonuses. The easiest money you're going to make sports betting is these sportsbook sign up bonuses. So this play really good. Again, like even if this were available on PrizePicks, if you have ParlayPlay, you'd rather bet it on ParlayPlay because again, ParlayPlay has better payouts, right? So we can go back here and we can take a look at, a bunch of other sports books, kind of see what's out there. Sportsbooks already dropping lines for Thursday Night Football. Still a lot of plays on Bet365. Would be sick if Bet365 were in my state, but it's not. So what we can do is we can just I don't know. You can see here's some tennis plays showing up on PrizePicks, right? Like the strategy doesn't change. On PrizePicks, you got to win your bets above 54.25% of the time to make money playing 5 flex plays. Why is OddsJam the positive EV tool recommending this play? Every sportsbook has this line like minus 140, right? Every book has the over heavily favored. So that would be a good play to go with if you're still looking for a pair for your Taco Tuesday play, or if any of these lines from earlier moved, because I'm not sure. Here's what we went with on PrizePicks, but if you wanted to add in that other one for a 6 pick or whatever, you can, go ahead and do it. So why don't we, So again, if you're betting on traditional sports books, there's a lot of value. Bet365, Circa, FanDuel, just kind of depends what books are in your location. And there's different strategies you can use to make money too. So like arbitrage betting is actually pretty crazy. And it looks like there's some good arbitrage bets right now. Arbitrage is when sports books, when their lines get super out of sync with one another, that you can bet, equal and opposite outcomes to make a risk-free profit. So here it's like, Fliff has a max bet size of $250. So you could make $16 risk-free, just follow the little arbitrage calculator, right? Due to this massive discrepancy in where books are pricing this over-under, you just got to move quickly when you're arbitrage betting. But anyways, so what did we hit on this live stream? We hit this on ParlayPlay. All the plays seem pretty good. Positive correlation on the Jake Moody play as well as the McCaffrey play. We hit this for the Underdog Fantasy promo. Banger. And then we hit this for PrizePicks Taco Tuesday. Although I already hit one for Twitter, but if you want to throw it in, you could do that. So anyways, hopefully this live stream was helpful. Feel free to email me with any questions if I didn't get to any of your questions. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. We'll be back on live later, hitting some bets. Let's make some